today is that he needed more than one player, and a running back with an expansion team, no offensive line, just didn't make sense to him. By the time he expects to be playoff competitive in about 4 years, who knows if Ki-Jana Carter would be around. Of course, with Kerry Collins, he can be a little bit more patient. They've signed Frank Reich. They've acquired Frank Reich to be their main quarterback and really to be a tutor to Kerry Collins if they get him at the number 5 pick as expected, Chris.
Well, Mort, certainly building a franchise, and we'll talk about more as the Carolina Panthers have a lot of fellas in that front office that have done this before. Building your football team, whether you are new or whether you are experienced. Mel, you want to get a blue-chip player? Let's walk through the top 10 or 12 players that you've got on the board.
Strong group of athletes, Chris. You look at the top, Carter, Tony Baselli, who figures to Jacksonville, can be a Pro Bowl left tackle. Kevin Carter, an outstanding pass-rushing defensive end. You got Michael Westbrook, who figures to be that big receiver that Norv Turner wants with the Washington Redskins. And then Warren Sapp, who could fall all the way down to the Cleveland Browns at 10 because of some of those allegations, plus the fact that he doesn't really fit the physical parameters. And by that, I mean he's not 6'4", 300 pounds. Wheatley could drop a little bit with durability questions, but he's got great talent. McNair may go to Houston with the 3rd pick. Carey, the 5 pick to Carolina. Both those quarterbacks have great potential. With McNair, I think the one quarterback 4 years down the road who could be spectacular. Stokes, the speed question could push him maybe to 8 to 15 area. And Joey Galloway, no question with speed with him, Chris. 4.18 speed. Seattle with Dennis Erickson needing somebody to complement Brian Blades. Would love to have Joey Galloway.
Well, those are the players and the names that you will hear awfully early. The Jacksonville Jaguars figured they paid all this money to get into the league. Why not take 15 minutes while you're on the clock? You get 15 minutes for each of the first-round selections. There's about 8.5 to go with the 2nd overall pick. The word for weeks has been Tony Baselli, the outstanding tackle of Southern California, continuing a fine tradition of left tackles in the name of Munoz, etc., from that school. Or is there some late thoughts of going somewhere else in Jacksonville? Let's head down to Florida and check in with Andrea Kramer. Good afternoon, Andrea.
Good afternoon, Chris. Well, they've been taking calls all morning about the 2nd pick. I guess there's no harm in listening, right? For example, we've heard that Minnesota has called to try to get up into the 2nd spot to take Steve McNair, especially since, as you mentioned, Houston's interested in McNair at the 3rd spot. But Tom Coughlin has a desperate need for tackles. Some people have said it's a mortal lock. He'll take Baselli. This Tony Baselli is a guy that he is very, very high on. Can't say enough about how fluid he is, especially for a big man, 6'7". He even said that he could add some weight still, about 10 more pounds. Tony Baselli is also a guy who wants to come here to Jacksonville. I spoke to him earlier this week, and he would be very happy to be the 2nd pick in this draft and to prove that he is closer to Anthony Munoz than he is closer to Tony Mandarich, the last offensive lineman taken this high, number 2 in '89. Chris, back to you.
All right, Andrea, at about 7.5 minutes left on the clock. Will that be the young man that goes to Jacksonville? Although, if he doesn't go there, he's not going to fall very far. That's for darn sure. Put him a left tackle, let him stay there for 10 years. We'll be back in New York. Keep it where it is.
Zima Gold.
Look, a MasterCard won't make you different or unique, okay? Actually, maybe it will. I mean, millions of people use MasterCard, but yours is meant for you and you alone. So if someone steals it, instead of worrying about people running around pretending to be you, call right away and cancel it, because after all, there's only one you. What's more, even if somebody does manage to charge stuff to you, you won't pay a cent, and we may even be able to get you a new card the next day. But just for you. Now, how's that for a useful card? MasterCard, it's more than a credit card, it's smart money.
As you cruise along in your 32-valve V8 Mercedes-E, you look out over this endless ribbon of asphalt, and one word comes to mind. Yeehaw!
Just spray it on?
Just spray it on.
Quicksilver Wheel Cleaner from Armor All. Just spray it on, and then just spray it off.
That's it?
That's it.
Quicksilver Wheel Cleaner.
Full catalog online was just the beginning. We could set up our own bookstore on the internet. Gramercy Press in cyberspace. Click the book they want right on the screen. Bingo. Next thing they know, they're reading the baby. Pay right with their credit cards. It's secured. We can go to the schools. Textbooks direct to the children's little hands. Cool. We're on the highway.
ESPN's coverage of the 1995 NFL Draft is brought to you by Network MCI Business. Install it in your office today. And by Quicksilver, wheel cleaner from Armor All. Just spray it on and hose it off. That's it.
You know? Welcome back to the Paramount Theater in New York, where one pick has been made. It's Ki-Jana Carter. He is a Cincinnati Bengal because of their trade with the #1 pick with the Carolina Panthers. He's with our Craig James right now, and I imagine, Craig, got to be all smiles.
This guy has to be all smiles. Ki-Jana stands for young man, right?
That's right. Yes, it is. And right now, I'm very happy. Hour and a half from my hometown. You know, it can be. Words can't explain how I feel right now, because all my family come see me now every week.
What were your emotions like, knowing over the last 24 hours you're being traded around and discussed so much?
It was kind of funny, you know. My lawyer, Lee Steinberg, said that, I'm going to go first, but he don't know with who. He was saying how Carolina was interested in Carey, and they was interested in trading down to a team, who wanted to select me. And so I was really relaxed, to tell you the truth, last night, because I was let God take care of it, and I was going to be happy anywhere I went.
Were you concerned about Carolina and their makeshift offensive line?
No, I had confidence in my skills. That's how I really looked at it. Like I said, any team who comes together with 40 people that want to win each week, I think they'll be all right, and that's how I came into it.
Your skills, is there any area that you'll work on particularly going into the NFL?
I work on all my skills. NFL is the elite group, and I'm going to try to be one of the elite, try to be one of the best. And right now, I'm going to work on all my skills. I'm not satisfied, first pick, but that's all right now. It's time to go to work.
First pick, #1 guy, you feel the pressure?
No, not at all. I was going to have fun. I was a thing I could carry with the rest of my life. Nobody could ever say they was the first pick in the '95 draft.
Well, you can always dance your way around. You took ballet, right?
Yeah, I don't think I can do that. I think they make fun of me a little bit. One thing I want to say, once again, I did it up close. I want to send out my regards to the people in Oklahoma City again. I honestly feel bad about that, and I hope that a lot of people are feeling good. I'm feeling a little bit better about, at least we got the two guys that, that supposedly did it.
All right. Hey, congratulations. Have a great career.
Thank you. Hi, Anna.
All right. Hey, Boomerang dances his way through the NFL defensive lines.
Hey, there's no doubt about that, and we learned something else about Ki-Jana Carter, Craig, that in the greatest moment of his life, at least a professional or athletic life, that he's thinking about those and the tragedy involved in Oklahoma. So we know what kind of ball player comes out of Penn State with Joe Paterno. One other note on Ki-Jana Carter. Remember, they're in the AFC Central with Cincinnati. Cleveland a running team, Pittsburgh a running team, Houston 2-14, Jacksonville in there. So Cincinnati can get a few more wins right away with Carter and play maybe the same style of ball a little bit as the big guys who made the playoffs, Pittsburgh and Cleveland. Jacksonville's pick. Here's the commission.
The Jacksonville Jaguars have selected tackle, Southern California, Tony Baselli. The Houston Oilers are now on the clock.
So Tony Baselli, the tackle from Southern California,
Congratulations.
goes with the second pick to Jacksonville. USC offensive lineman, top 5 in the draft. 15 years ago, a young man by the name of Anthony Munoz went with the third pick to Cincinnati. He's going to be going to the Hall of Fame. Ron Yeri was the first pick at 68 with the Vikings. Is he the similar quality player, Mel?
They hope he is, Chris. You watch him here, number 71, the left tackle, critical left tackle. You see the quickness. Here's a kid, 325 pounds. He can get down the field and deliver a block on the move. You'll see him in pass protection and drive blocking. He gets explosion at the point. Here you go with Sean Walters. Then you watch him here again at left tackle, pass protection. There's Ronaldo Winnie's going up against a quick pass rusher. Doesn't even get into the backfield to do any damage whatsoever. Pulling around the corner. Outstanding quickness for a kid, 325 pounds, Chris. There's no way to soft sell Tony Baselli. He's a great football player, great character individual as well. Kid who had a 3.02 grade point average. He's a business administration major. In the summer of '94, he worked on a construction crew that repaired the Los Angeles Coliseum after the earthquake damage. So a kid who really has his head on straight, and certainly with the Jacksonville Jaguars will be looked to be that left tackle that they can put out there for maybe 12 to 14 years, and maybe half of that time, Chris, he'll be in the Pro Bowl.
6'6", 315. He probably repaired the Coliseum all by himself. Here are the guys we were talking about. Ron Yeri, as good as it gets, was a #1 pick back in 1968 with the Vikes, 7 Pro Bowls. Anthony Munoz, #1 pick of the Bengals. He was the 3rd overall pick in 1980, 11 Pro Bowls out of 13 years. Marvin Powell made 5 Pro Bowls. So this is the pedigree from whence Tony Boselli comes. And one other note as we go to Andrea Kramer. The first draft pick ever made by the Cincinnati Bengals, with a guy that knows how to build a football team, Paul Brown, was a center. Bob Johnson. He put him at center. He played there for 10 years. As we go down to Jacksonville, I've got a feeling that Tom Coughlin, first pick, Tony Boselli, Andrea, he's going to put him there for 10 to 12 years at left tackle and block the sun.
Absolutely, Chris. And boy, he was just watching the shot of Tony holding up the jersey, and he was a very happy man, needless to say. Congratulations, but what took so long? What were you doing in there?
Lots of phone calls, lots of things going on in there, Andrea.
Any doubt, though, about Boselli?
Absolutely none. No, he really looked good in that teal and black, didn't he?
He did. Now, tell me what it was exactly about him. You've worked him out. You've had dinner with him. You've spent a lot of time researching him. What is it about Boselli that you like so much?
Well, I like his size and his speed and his great ability to move his feet. He has the instinct of dominance. He has great character. He's a focused young man, mature, a great foundation building block for this franchise.
Did you get a little nervous when Cincinnati moved up to the first pick, especially since they had quite a need for a left tackle also?
Cincinnati coveted Boselli. They certainly have had great success in the past with the offensive lineman taken high in the draft, in the same school as well. So, yes, there were some nervous moments.
Now, you've got a number of picks, 12 picks overall today because you gave up 2 in the Mark Brunell trade yesterday. Do you expect to move up at all in the first round, package some picks and move up?
We'll see, Andrea. We have some players in mind. We'll judge as the draft goes on, the first round goes on, for example, exactly what we need to do. And if it's worthy and worth moving up and giving up some picks, we'll do it.
And we will talk to you later as the day progresses. Thank you very much, Coach Coughlin. Let's head back to New York.
All right, Tom and Andrea, thank you very much. Steve Berline and Mark Brunell are the quarterbacks for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They just got smiles with that draft pick of Tony Boselli. We'll be back. Speaking of quarterbacks, is this the slot for Steve McNair? Does he go with the 3rd pick to Houston? He's in New York. So are we. We'll be back.
Last year, nearly 1.6 million cars were stolen in the United States. That's 1 car every 20 seconds every day of the year. It's time to get serious about crime prevention. It's time for the Club. The Club is a tempered steel lock that's tough to defeat. It remains the only vehicle locking device that's police recommended. I believe the Club to be the best vehicle theft deterrent you can buy. That's why I use it on my personal vehicle. Plus, the Club can protect your vehicle's airbag from being stolen. It's a growing problem that the Club is helping to control. But be aware of the lookalikes and the copycats out there. Be sure your anti-theft device says the Club on the handle. Accept no cheap imitations. Get the one vehicle anti-theft device that police officers like myself recommend. Get the Club. It's time to get serious about crime prevention. It's time for the Club.
And let Winner International protect your family from harm with the Door Club home security device. Now available at Sears.
Hey, Chris, can we ask you a few questions about the Dallas game?
Yeah, sure. Where do you want me?
Wherever you're comfortable.
All right, I got 2 minutes.
The boy who was always out of breath. The restless one who was always the last one into class and the first one out. The boy who was always staring into space is now flying through it.
And welcome back to the new venue of the 60th annual NFL selection meeting. We commonly call it the NFL draft. We're here at the Paramount Theater in New York. And now is the time, Mr. Theismann, that we start to look at quarterbacks, and there's a very good reason why. A, there are a couple guys that, especially Steve McNair, with numbers you can't believe. Right. But B, I think you're younger than the average age of quarterbacks in the NFL.
I could well be very young in the comparison when we take a look at the guys around the league. The National Football League has got to be in a fearful situation. There are 90 NFL jobs that are available. 32 of those jobs are occupied by players who are 30 years or older. 8 are over 35. But look at the bottom number. Of the 28 teams that started last year, 16 starters, or the 30 now,